In November of 2023, the Swell Pod took a 10-day journey across 5 states, traveling 3,580 miles with one challenge in mind.
And that challenge was to interview 100 pleasantly rebellious humans to uncover deep truths about what it takes to create something that has never existed before, challenge the status quo, maybe even change the world.
This is the Kiln Road Trip, created and produced by the Swell Pod.
In partnership with Kiln, Moterra Camper Vans, and sponsored by Taurus.
I'm Spencer McKeown.
And I'm Josh Taylor, and together we're the co-hosts of the Swell Pod and your guides on the Kiln Road Trip. Follow along on the journey.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, follow the Swell Pod on social media, and subscribe to your YouTube channel at, you guessed it, the Swell Pod.
This is interview 2 of the Kiln Road Trip, and today we're at Kiln Park City talking with Julian Castelli. Julian is a board director, operating partner, and executive coach at Growth Elevated. Growth Elevated is a community of C-level tech execs dedicated to helping each other succeed through collaboration with events, community forums, and thought leadership. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoy.
Welcome to our the Swell Pod as a podcast, as well as the Kiln Road Trip.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks so much.
Before we kind of dive into things, we would love you to give us a Reader's Digest kind of version in a minute about your life and obviously also your business life, but just anything you want to kind of share if you were describing your whole life.
Yeah, well, like a lot of entrepreneurs, I started out as a business person in corporate America. I've worked at a lot of large companies, and then I decided to get the entrepreneurial bug and dive into entrepreneurship. And I did that. That brought me to Utah, where I've been now for 17 years. And about 2 years ago, I started working here at the Kiln. And I started my entrepreneurial career here in Utah, ran a tech business for about 10 years. And now I work with tech leaders as an executive coach, as an investor through a venture capital firm called Next Coast Ventures, and as an advisor.
Tell me a bit about just this concise period that you just did, about your kind of growing up and whether it's your family, your grandparents, your parents, anything about your life up until, not work-wise.
Well, I grew up in the Northeast, the son of 2 immigrants who were, so I'm a first-generation American, and I've had a wonderful family. My mother's from Norway, my father's from Italy, and my brother now lives in Switzerland, so we're a very international family. And our nucleus family lives here now in Utah in the mountains. We love it.
That's amazing. And
Also, are you coach of the Park City football team?
I am.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm a little tired this morning. We played in the state semifinal last night. Unfortunately, we did not win, but it's been an incredible season. The boys just had a great year.
Yeah.
They'll finish 11-2, and we've got to play in the University of Utah football stadium. Which was very Friday Night Lights. I couldn't believe everyone's holding their cameras, walking through, going, "My goodness, we're in the big house." And
in the locker rooms and everything.
We got to play in the locker rooms. I've got pictures I can show you. It was an amazing experience, and a great group of kids, great group of coaches. We had a wonderful season.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Not that you lost, but
no. Look,
it's a good season though.
We played a great team.
Yeah,
we played a great team. They played well. We probably didn't play our best game, but it was the experience, right? It was the culmination of months and months and years of hard work, and we taught great lessons to those kids that's going to make them better humans in their lives. They're going to go on and do great things, and it was a great thing just to get there.
So like a natural coach, you'd probably, right? Like you just have that knack for.
Well, that's exactly right. I started coaching football about 6 years ago, and I've been a unofficial executive coach for years, just through my network and with peers and other folks, and I started coaching for real. Got dragged into the football program here as a great opportunity. Yeah. And then I realized, I do kind of like this. I like helping people achieve their goals and helping to make them the best they can be. And now I'm doing that in the professional world.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Some rapid fires?
You go for it, if you have something ready.
No, I know.
I think it would be great, though, to just know, so from an entrepreneur world, right, and the business world and getting into that aspect of things and what you're up to now. Can you just talk a little bit about, so what are you doing now and kind of what sparked that? What was the opportunity or the problem that maybe sparked that?
Yeah, so I am doing the coaching as we described, but I'm also trying to create a community that can help tech entrepreneurs. I think the idea that sparked it is that it's incredibly lonely at the top. There's a lot of people that get into entrepreneurship from all kinds of backgrounds and careers and experiences, and then you're there and you've got your first funding, you've got your first team, and you hit your first roadblock, and it's like, wow, you freeze up, right?
Yeah.
I remember as I talk to entrepreneurs, we talk about everyone has their own metaphor. For me, it's staring at the ceiling in the pitch dark at 3 a.m., right? And I think the answer or the insight is that it takes a village. It takes people to help. Like, don't hold it all inside. Your instinct, because you're in that role as the CEO or the CXO, is that you should have all the answers. Right? And of course, the truth is, you're there because you have a lot of answers, but you don't have all the answers, and no one is as good as they can be with a group interacting with people and having a community to try to help you. No one could be as good as that by themselves.
Yeah.
And so the insight is that it's lonely at the top, and try to find a community that can help you or a coach that can help you. We started Growth Elevated after a company that I ran for 9 years. We had finally exited, and we missed each other. The executive team. So we had a dinner at my house, and people came up and came skiing. Some came from out of state. And we started doing this dinner, and we started doing this skiing, and we realized we were talking about business, and we had, like startups do, we had people who had moved on to their next startup, and they had new challenges, and they were in different roles, and we had people making connections and saying, well, how about who you're looking for? It was the entrepreneurial experience. It was happening organically. And people started saying, well, we want to do that again. Let's come back next year, and they started planning on it. And I quickly outgrew my house, and people said, why don't you make this into a thing so we can actually plan on this each year and make it a business thing? And so at first it was just fun. And over time, people asked, they wanted to have a little bit more business content. They want to have a logical reason to come back and put it on their calendar. And so we've been doing that now for 6 years. And last year we had about 65 C-level and founder technology leaders from around the country come. And we spend about a third of the time skiing. Park City's an easy draw, right? People want to come to Park City. A third of the time we have curated restaurants and happy hours and places to go. But you should see the buzz and the energy in the air, right? Because you're bringing founders and C-levels from 40 different companies together. They're all in that stage from Series A to kind of Series C, probably, right? And they're all facing the same challenges. And as soon as they let their guard down and realize, oh, okay, I'm not here to show off and try to raise venture capital. I'm here to actually have a good time and meet some networks and some superpower folks that could be my superpower in the future because I can reach out to them. It just starts happening. The conversations are great. We call it the chairlift board meetings, where people start talking to each other. And I measure the success based on how much connectivity and real value is created each year. So quite often there are people who come, they're in between jobs, and they find 3 people that want to talk to them about future jobs.
Yeah.
Or I see people come, and they're really struggling because they have to hire a CXO or a VP of ABC department. And they say, oh man, that person that I met on the chairlift, can you give me their contact information because they might be the right person? And coming out of COVID, where we all retreated and we were in our homes and on Zoom, I think just it's the magic of community, it's the magic of interaction. All of a sudden you're there. If you bring the right group of people together, they're all trying to solve problems, they've all got skills and some experience that could be complementary, the magic happens. And so that turned kind of an informal dinner into an event. It's called the Growth Elevated Ski and Tech Summit. We're doing it, we do it every year. We're doing the next one in February. And so I'm focusing on that as my primary focus right now. And then I'm working with a number of tech companies that we're helping them climb the mountain. We've got an incredible company out in California called Redica Systems that I've been working with for years that is helping the champions of safety at the pharmaceutical companies ensure the quality of the supply chain. And that's an exciting company that I've been working with for several years. There's another company in the UK, actually, UK and Montana, called Administrate that I'm helping. They help big enterprises manage their learning platforms and their educational programs. So I primarily work with SaaS companies, sometimes marketplace companies, generally tech.
Yeah, it's amazing. Is your event an invite only? Sorry if I missed that.
It is. It is. It's for C-level and founders of tech companies, but we're because we're trying to create that peer connectivity and community. But we are happy to talk to people who are interested. We'd love to have more people come.
What have you learned then about that community that you've first of all, it started organically.
That's right.
Not always possible, but a really great start, and then it's just
seems important for a healthy community, I think, to almost start organically.
Yeah.
I don't know if it can be forced too much, but
No.
I don't know.
What have you learned from over those 6 years? You know, what worked and what maybe didn't work in that 6-year period?
Yeah, well, we're still evolving. We're still learning every year, right? So at first it was very casual, right? It was just a ski trip for some friends, and that was obviously great. And then we learned that the magic was bringing people together that were facing the same challenges. And it was almost, we didn't have to do too much curation of agenda, although we do now have a professional program, and we bring a speaker in, and we do some structured networking that everyone enjoys. But to be honest with you, the magic is the people themselves. And so what we do in terms of structured activity, the one that's most popular, is not when we bring in a speaker, but we actually curate and moderate groups and say, we're going to put 10 people together. We're going to throw some of the biggest challenges for next year on the table, and we do it in a way that is very efficient with time. And we're always amazed. We sit back and watch like, oh my God, we just saw 3 like game-changing kind of connections being made that they are going to, you know, attendee A just helped attendee C with a problem that was huge that person didn't think they were going to get a solution for, but by encouraging them to share in a way that's not typical. You're not going to share this on a chairlift or at a cocktail hour unless someone actually encourages you to do, and everyone leans in and says, okay, we're going to have a space of confidentiality. We're going to try to help each other. This is going to be, you know, give first, get second kind of ethos, and you create that environment. Plus, the people there have challenges. You're going to be amazed at how many relevant either connections or opportunities or experiences could be shared that really can help someone get unstuck and move from A to B. And that's what we're all about. If we can help someone, they're all on a journey, and if we can help them move from A to B, a big step on that journey, then they're just like, wow, I went on a ski trip, but I actually got business value. That was the magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's getting that right balance of kind of you want things to happen naturally on the ski lift. At the same time, the more information you know about, I'm interested in how much information you know about their aspirations, their challenges coming in, so you can match them up.
That's right.
A little, enough
and
to just nudge, in the right direction.
And the magic's in the, how much, like you said, how much is curated. We're more on the casual side. I just came from a great conference, in Austin, and it was terrific. It was because it said the same people. It was a CEO conference from the venture capital firm I work with, and it was a terrific one. And that one was more structured, and we had professional programs. Ours is more on the, as you might imagine, being at a ski resort, a little bit more on the casual side, right? So there are people that come and they just want to go skiing, and this is they've circled this calendar and they've got it as an excuse. They can go the business trip, whether it's from the opportunity to have the get out of jail-free card from either the family obligations or the work obligations. So there are people who just want to come and go skiing, right?
Yeah.
But even those people are amazed because they find the opportunity, whether it's maybe après ski, instead of just talking about the next sports game next weekend. They're like, man, I just talked to someone who's really relevant to my industry, who's dealt with some of the same challenges that I have, and guess what? They know somebody who would be a great fit for job ABC that I'm looking at, and so people can come and enjoy the skiing, or other people come and like, man, I need to find my next job, or I'm looking for my next set of investors, or I need to find a CFO, and they come with those challenges. So, the answer to your question is it's different for different people, but we do try to curate it. So we have that one session where we have a moderated session where it's very structured because we're going to try and drive right to those challenges and those opportunities, and it's fairly effective. We do it for 12 people in less than 3 hours, so it's very efficient. Then we have name cards, right? So if your biggest challenge, we do a survey. If your biggest challenge next year is getting funding, you're going to have a circle dot that represents that, and you're going to see those circle dots. Say, okay, I'm looking for funding. What's your role? Well, I happen to be a venture capitalist. I'm looking for companies to fund, right? Yeah. That's the magic. If it can happen, that's the idea. Other people are looking to make big improvements in their R&D department. They might have a yellow dot, right? If their sales and marketing is the challenge for 2024, it might be a blue dot. And so people can naturally see that, and between the fact that they realize that they're talking to people that are in the same circumstance, right? Series A through D, executive or founder, And now they've got a color code. They can say, okay, I can talk to other people about go-to-market. What did you try? Mm-hmm. Have you tried this? Because we just tried that. Now we're going to try, option B and C. Have you tried those yet? Do you have good vendors that you've used? Do you know good people, right?
Yeah.
And that becomes really valuable. And most people don't expect that, when they go for a ski trip, right?
Yeah.
But if you can get that and you can get some energy. And I'd say the third element is relationships. We invite the CEO, and we say, Noah's Ark, come in pairs. So bring your CFO or your CTO or your CRO, whatever it might be, and they're going to have relationships. Because let's face it, who's in the same office anymore? 5 days a week, right? So first opportunity to create a relationship with one of your teammates. Then the second thing is, if you bring your CFO, they're going to find 5 other CFOs they're going to have a relationship with. The CEO is going to find 5 other CEOs and other CXOs. And so you build relationships within your team, and hopefully you create other ones that are going to be helpful when you're staring at the ceiling at 3 in the morning, and that's how you get to the point where you're not feeling like you're alone, and you have a community you can reach out to. And, the odds are just dramatically better that if you reach out to those folks and share your experience and they share theirs, you're going to find solutions where maybe they weren't there when you're by yourself.
Yeah.
What I like about this is just when you find something, I'm sure you're passionate about skiing, right?
Yes.
You find something, you're not just bolting it onto the end of a conference, or whatever. Like you're making it about, okay, let's just go and refresh our energy, doing something we love.
That's right.
And then you're intertwining some really important elements within that. And data is so big right now, isn't it? But actually, as simple as this, and this is what I think our audience can probably apply to any event and any community if they're not coming to yours, is yes, they're not going to. Yes, they might have done surveys and they might have looked carefully to see where the matches could be made, but just something really practical of a sticker. And I've seen other people doing that, just accelerates that value proposition.
Yeah, just
straight in.
If we hadn't had the stickers, you get that group together, they're going to have a lot to talk about, right? They're used to pitching their companies, they're used to problem solving, they're entrepreneurs. It's a great group of people, but you're exactly right. That sticker gives them permission to take it one level further and say, hey, okay, we've all agreed to kind of be, to have a confidentiality. We've all agreed to try to help each other. Hey, yellow, tell me about your R&D team. What are you trying to solve, right?
Yeah, it's a simple strategy.
Yeah, for sure. I like this idea of challenges, and I'm wondering, is there a challenge or an opportunity that's kind of like keeping you up at night personally, like kind of the challenge that you're maybe obsessing over?
Right now I'm really energized about growing this community, right? And I've never done that before, so I'm learning. Like, I didn't know community, how it worked, right? I've just been part of natural communities. So, you said earlier that there's that right balance between organic and trying to push something. I think that's what I'm trying to do, right? I'm trying to be very customer responsive. I feel like I see the spark when I hear people talk about the value they get out of it. I hear people say, there's something there, so I'm excited, I want to grow it. At the same time, it's a fine balance, right? And so I'm trying to understand, I'm going to school. I'm learning about communities. I'm researching about communities. I'm online. I'm taking courses. I'm trying to understand, because to me it was a ski trip, right? It was a ski weekend. But now people are saying you have a community, and that's that's an opportunity. I've been a part of great communities. So I've been a part of YPO for 15 years, and I recognize that's a structured community that's very formally organized. We're not there, and I don't think that's what we're going to do. But there's a lot of lessons from there. So I look at something as formal as that, to something as informal as just a group of friends getting together once a year on a ski trip, and I'm trying to figure out where are we in between. But I think there's a lot of exciting things to learn from every model, and we're going to pick and choose the right ones that will work for us. And I'm giving myself the grace to realize that not put too much pressure on myself. Say, if we just get better each year, and if we serve people and they find there was great value and they want to come back each year, we'll try to offer a little bit more each year and learn what's going on. Very entrepreneurial. We'll iterate. We'll test. We'll get feedback, and try to just build the best opportunity we can. Our goal is to help entrepreneurs climb the growth mountain. That's the idea. It's called Growth Elevated. We're here in Park City in the beautiful mountains. We're going to get out on the mountains together and ski and exercise and be breathing heavily in the beautiful air. And that's the whole idea of it. And if we can help people professionally on their career journeys or on their entrepreneurship journeys at the same time, we think it's an exciting opportunity.
If you were to give people from all these events that you've done, all of these different entrepreneurs that you've spoken with, people who are out there trying to create something new, innovative, challenge the status quo, maybe even in some way, what advice would you give somebody? Before we get into the rest of the episode, we want to thank the partners and sponsors who made the Kiln Road Trip possible. The Kiln Road Trip is brought to you by Kiln. Kiln is a boutique co-working and flex office community with 13 locations in 6 states across the West, dedicated to providing innovative workspaces that empower your team to thrive. Whether you're a solo visionary or an enterprise-level team of up to 100, Kiln transcends being merely a place to work. It's a hub for learning and connecting with like-minded professionals that will make you and your team love where you work.
And if you haven't stepped foot inside a kiln yet, you really need to. On this road trip, we visited every single location, and trust us when we say once you see these beautifully designed spaces, meet the talented team, and connect with fellow members, you won't want to work anywhere else.
Locations include Utah, Colorado, Idaho, Oregon, California, and Arizona. And they're growing too, with multiple locations set to open in 2024.
Yeah, so be sure to check out the kiln locations nearest you by booking a tour at Kiln.com and answer Swell in the question, how did you hear about us? Once you complete the tour, you'll be entered into a competition where you could win a 1-year membership, their club membership at Kiln.
Yep, you heard that. That's Kiln.com, book a tour, and be sure to mention Swell in the question, how did you hear about us?
The Kiln Road Trip is also brought to you by Moterra Camper Vans, a luxury camper van rental company for iconic road trips. Their top-of-the-line vans are available at 7 locations located near America's best outdoor adventure destinations. They have consistently earned the highest customer ratings in the industry, making Moterra camper vans your gateway to adventure without sacrificing on comfort or service.
That's true, and initially we wanted to take this journey in a 1960s VW bus, but thankfully we found Moterra instead. With 3 van options, we took the Pop Top Classic, which sleeps 4 and is best for those who want to maximize floor space and storage. This was critical for us because it needed to sleep the entire crew, we needed space to edit, and we were traveling with large amounts of equipment, luggage, and other goodies that we picked up along the way.
And this van took us through all 3,580 miles of the trip. Super comfortable and sweet to drive.
And actually, Moterra offers fully planned itineraries if you'd rather leave the planning to someone else.
Visit gomoterra.com/swell. That's gomoterra.com/swell.
This episode is also brought to you by Taurus. Taurus is leading the charge in home energy storage. Taurus makes it easy to achieve energy independence and a greener tomorrow. The Taurus station provides everything you need to generate clean power, efficiently store electricity, and easily manage your energy use.
And installing a Taurus station offers plenty of benefits, including save money on your electricity bill,
also ensure energy security with backup power during outages,
reduce carbon emissions with renewables.
You can also automate EV charging and HVAC systems with 100% renewables.
And enjoy unrivaled system monitoring and support.
If you like the sound of those benefits, get a quote to build your Taurus station in less than 30 seconds. Super easy at taurus.co. That's TORUS.co. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Whenever you're trying to build something new or create something new, that's the world we're in the entrepreneurship and tech ecosystem. It takes incredible courage. It takes courage, and it takes some people say a irrational courage and belief, and it does because you have to just basically take the step into the darkness with the belief that if you do, a candle will light up and you'll see the next step. So if you're an organized planner, like sometimes I am, and you want to see the path through A, B, C, D, E, F, and you want to see the path, that doesn't exist in entrepreneurship. You might have a vision of what the end point looks like, but you have to be confident enough to step into the darkness. And you have to be confident in whatever. Every time I've done that, you're halfway to the darkness and you think, man, I'm going to get lost in the darkness, and all of a sudden there's some light. You can't see it until you're in there, and you see the light, and it gives you a choice of different paths. And the more you go, it starts illuminating the path, And obviously, even the biggest companies that have been successful started the same way. I think the advice I have is if you go alone, you only have one light. Right. And if you go and you still, it's going to be scary, it's going to be challenging, but if you try to bring as much community to you as you can, have as many allies, whether it be a mentor or a coach or a board member or just a community of people you can rely on, those are all lights that might provide the view to different pathways in that dark voyage, that dark exploration. And so the more light you have, the more options you have, better chance that you're going to make the better decisions, and the better chance that you're going to find the path to create something truly incredible.
And thinking about community and the fact that you're at Kiln, I'm wondering, so what has Kiln meant to you since the time that you've been working out of this location?
I love this place. Yeah. We're here at Kiln Park City. The team here is amazing. They make you feel welcome every time you come in. I just get this little jolt of endorphins coming in. It's beautifully decorated. I have people come in from around the world, and they're all, I love to host meetings here, and they're always just amazed, like, man, what is this place, right? Yeah. This place is cool. It's got a vibe. It's got like an energy that people love. So I love showing it off. I love bringing people in to see it. I love coming in the morning. We were all working alone in the pandemic, and this place was being reinvented during the pandemic. And I remember, coming and seeing it, saying, man, this is, I have a home office, but it's fine. But like this place has an energy I want to be a part of. So it's been great for that energy. And it's been great because of the serendipitous connections you can make. There are great, smart people here. Yeah. And even here, you have the danger of being alone and reserved, cocooning a little bit, right? Yeah. And so I love the way that, we have the common space. I love the way that there are some meals. And if you just go out there and spend some time, you're going to run into some awesome people. Yeah. And no one can climb the mountain alone. That's my theme. No one can do anything alone. And the more people you engage, the more chances you have of having allies and connectivity. And I've made those kind of connections literally 10 feet from the front door of my office, right outside here at Kiln. And that's invaluable.
Yeah, thank you. I think this has been fantastic. Wish we had longer. You're speaking our language, or certainly my language, around all these different visions for the community. We had a conversation last week with David Spinks, who's the author of The Business of Belonging.
Oh, I love that. I'd love to hear that. Yeah, I'd love to read that.
And then also Derek Anderson, which has the biggest startup founding community in the world.
Wow.
And we're hoping that they'll be on the podcast in San Francisco. But we'd love to chat again at some point.
I look forward to hearing that.
Is there anything that you'd like to say to the listeners, to the viewers, anything that you'd like to plug or promote, or just any last words? Yeah,
well, if there are entrepreneurs out there that are feeling lonely on the journey and that they could use a ski trip, or they could use a community of other founders and C-level execs that are eager to collaborate, then please go look at the Growth Elevated Ski and Tech Summit. It's February 1st through 3rd. And they could reach out to me on LinkedIn, Julian Castelli.
Actually, one last question.
I
can't stop.
Go on then.
Is there a specific, from a coaching perspective, is there a coach that really inspires you that you kind of look up to? It can be anybody. I know, when I was in high school, I played soccer, and my coach and a lot of the players looked up to John Wooden. The pyramid of success.
I know very much that, and that was the one I was going to use. I think he exemplifies some of the best traits of coaching, and of course with all the success. But when you actually get down to what he actually does, it's amazing. The lessons, and it's wholesome goodness when you read about John Wooden. So I really admire his approach, and obviously his success, and thousands of coaches around the world have emulated and try to live up to some of the lessons that he shared.
Well, I wonder if we should, in the spirit of challenges, maybe we should always connect one interview to the previous one. But last night we interviewed our first guest, who created this company, Backcountry Swell.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
And you might want to look at his incredible backcountry skis and snowboards that are all environmentally friendly made with
recycled
plastic.
Wow.
They're incredible.
I'd love to learn more about that.
So there we go. There's a nice.
That actually
connection.
makes a lot of sense. That was a great idea. Yeah.
So
considering the conversation.
our little gift to you. I'm hoping it's the right size. I think.
Thank
it
you.
Is. Pleasantly rebellious, which it sounds like you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a great humble leader that's building something exciting. So thank you.
Hey, it's great to be here with you this morning. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Kiln Road Trip. Be sure to follow along on the rest of the journey, and you can do that in two ways. One, subscribe to the podcast, whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or maybe even watching on YouTube, and follow along on all of our social media platforms, whether you're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok, @the Swell Pod. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next episode.